everybody, this is D Hunter for another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse DC Direct Page Puncher Superboy. This is Superboy from Death and Return of Supermen, The Reign of the Supermen. And unfortunately, he's missing his glasses and jacket, which I think is an insane decision and very disappointing. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, ages 12 plus, includes exclusive comic book in the English language, DC Direct, Superboy. Here he is in the package. Looks like we have a total of 4 interchangeable hands, display stand, collector's card, and a comic book. Not much going on the sides. At the back, here's that comic, Superboy #1, where he is wearing his glasses and jacket. Hopefully somebody will make a third-party jacket so we can make this figure complete. At the bottom, there's the barcode if it helps. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we have this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. We have a display stand, a collector's card, a total of 4 interchangeable hands, and then a reprint of Superboy #1. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Superboy from the Death and Return of Superman, The Reign of the Supermen. This is the Connell, or Connor Kent Superboy. Originally, I believe he was a clone of both Superman and Lex Luthor's DNA combined. He's had many different looks over the years. Started out being that cool Superboy with the sunglasses, the leather jacket, and in later years, he identified as Connor Kent, and he had the jeans and the t-shirt. Now, the biggest problem with this figure is that he has no jacket or glasses. Now, what the fuck was McFarlane thinking? They made this awesome cloth softgoods jacket for the platinum version of Power Girl, and that is what I expected with this guy. Something like that, but instead, we got nothing. Hey, look behind him. The comic, the source material is based off, the comic it comes with has the jacket and the glasses, which he had in pretty much every appearance back then. That really sucks and is incredibly disappointing. I've got to absolutely roast this guy in this video because it's ridiculous that McFarlane would not include the basic accessories for this guy. Hell, the last version of this Superboy was from, I think, the Rebirth comics, and he had the jacket, but it had spikes on it. Just very disappointing that he doesn't have those 2 essential accessories for the character. Now, I guess I will have to take matters into my own hands and find some jacket and glasses for him myself. But if you're going to have to buy those things, it's going to make the cost of the figure even higher, and that sucks. So let's take a closer look at him. This is the Con-El Superboy based off the John Kent body. It's a thin body for a younger sort of hero, and I think it works for this character, but some of the characters he used before doesn't work as much. Now the face looks just fine. Looks fantastic. The haircut is good. It just really needs the glasses. Those circular sunglasses he has, signature for him. As we go further down, the color scheme's just fine. Black on the top, blue on the bottom, Superman logo. I don't know if it's really supposed to be black on the top or if that's just sort of shading based off his jacket. And if he had the jacket on, it wouldn't be very noticeable. The belt is accurate. He's got the sort of thigh, I don't know, utility belt or whatever. And it's just a painted yellow line. They could have actually put a little belt on there. Double jointed knees, double jointed elbows, black boots with yellow stripes on them. Like I said, it's not a bad Superboy figure. I like the hair, the shaved head at the bottom with the hair at the top, and he even has an earring on his left ear. Like I said, it's not a bad body or face or paint job or any of that stuff. It's just the lack of the jacket and the glasses that utterly ruins this figure. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt, I think the face, head, the hair, it all looks really good. It's just missing one important thing. And then, here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand, typical McFarlane display stand we've seen plenty of times before. They're putting the classic DC logo on them now. And then we have his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Superboy. Of course, he's wearing his leather jacket. Superboy. On the back, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. And now let's check out this comic. This is a reprint of Superboy #1 from the 90s. This is after Superman came back and Superboy got his own comic series. As you can see at the top, from the pages of Superman, Superboy #1, Reign of Tomorrow. Here's Superboy, and look what he's wearing. Oh, that's right, his jacket and glasses. And if you go inside the book, he has his jacket and glasses on again. Really annoyed with how McFarlane botched that. I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's why he's losing a DC license decision like this, and there's definitely some truth to that. I love the McFarlane line, but glaring errors like this don't make them look good. Now let's check out his hands. He has a total of 4 hands, 2 left hands, and 2 right hands. Here he is with the first pair of hands. His right hand is a thumbs up, and his left hand is a fist. And he has these ridiculous, really large, sort of top of his gloves, which is accurate to the comic. And here's his alternate pair of hands. These are a pair of open hands. And now to address the elephant in the room, the missing jacket and glasses. There was no way I was going to accept this, being the Superboy they gave us after waiting all this time. I thought about maybe doing a swap with the previous Superboy, doing an arm swap and a torso swap and taking the jacket off, but the jacket had spikes in it and it's just not accurate. It's not what I wanted. I want a clean, normal looking jacket for Superboy. And in my big haul video recently where I got the Superboy figure, I was bitching and moaning about the jacket, and some guy dropped me a line in the comments with a link to Amazon that had this leather jacket. It's intended for 1/12 scale figures. It showed Marvel Legends wearing it, but John Kent's a pretty small body, and I'll tell you, it fits absolutely perfect. I will put a link to the jacket in the description below. The glasses there came from some wrestling figure. Black glasses, sunglasses with the circular lenses, perfect for Superboy. And then we have this jacket. It's a cloth soft goods leather jacket. The collar's popped up. It looks great. Has a sort of leathery material on the inside. You know, a lot more flat, not glossy or shiny, but it looks good. It kind of reminds me of Mr. Terrific's jacket. This should be perfect for Superboy. I've been waiting a long time to try this on, so let's see what's up. And then bam, there you go. Fits perfect. I am so pleased with the end result. He typically doesn't have his collar popped up. I'm going to have to make that sit down a little bit more. But we have those sunglasses which fit on his head just fine. They don't go quite behind his ears, and they're not quite as secured as I'd like. But I can easily make that happen. I don't want to glue them on. I want them to be removable. But they look good. And then the jacket, it just fits perfect. It's maybe a little bit bunchy in the elbows, but that's going to allow for the articulation to still go through. Phenomenal. He's got these large sort of toughness gloves, which is accurate to sticking out past the jacket. The jacket itself looks great. It's a perfect leather jacket for Superboy. The only thing missing is a Superman logo on the back, and I can probably find one online to iron onto there or something, but it's not nearly as big a deal to me as having no jacket altogether. From the front, he looks like an excellent Superboy at this point, and this is exactly what I expected McFarlane to come with. A cloth soft goods jacket for him, just like the Platinum Power Girl, and I'm very disappointed he did not come with that. Now to check out the reuse differences and similarities between the Superboy and the John Kent Superman. They utilize the same base body, but have some differences as well. So let's take a closer look. Starting off with their heads, obviously they're totally different. God, I really don't like that head sculpt. The torso and stomach are the same, except this guy has the sculpted Superman logo sort of put on top of the torso, and his is simply painted on. Their arms and even their hands are the same. This John Kent has the sculpted red part above my fingernail, and you can still see the same sort of sculpted piece here. The diaper piece is going to be different, and then the legs down to the feet are the same. Once again, he has the sculpted part where the red is, and you can still see he has that same sculpted part there. I think the body works pretty good for Superboy, and I would guess it works okay for John Kent. Definitely thinner than I'd like. Here are all the McFarlane DC Multiverse figures that utilize this John Kent base body. I count a total of 18 of them, and it's a good body for a young adult or teenager. The only ones I think maybe should not have used this body would be the Jim Gordon Batman and the John Kent Superman. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and its accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 6.9 inches tall, which can translate to just under 18 centimeters. And now for his articulation. Starting with his head, of course, it can rotate side to side. He can look up, not much, down a little bit more. Can tilt his head from one side to the other. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out about 90 degrees. Up, down, around. He's got this butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest, increasing the range of motion and covering the gap that would be there. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate and it is hinged. He's got a ball joint in his torso, rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, very good range of motion. Legs, complete disc splits, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is non-existent. Legs go forward about that much, back not at all. Double jointed knees. And then his ankles, forward and back. Rotate, tilt, rock, and toe articulation. Here's a look at Superboy in Metropolis, just hanging out, giving a thumbs up. Now let's check him out next to some of their action figures, starting off with some of their Superboy figures. Here's the Con-El Superboy from the Death and Return of Superman and Reign of the Supermen, next to the Con-El Superboy from more recent comics. Now, when they first revealed Superboy, I just assumed he was going to have a jacket. When we got confirmation he wasn't, I considered maybe taking this guy, doing an arm swap, taking the jacket off. But he had these stupid spikes on his shoulders, and that just doesn't work for me. He does have the Superman logo on the back, which is very tempting, but I really like the way they both turned out. These guys are on the same base body. And here's this Con-El Superboy next to the Connor Kent Superboy. Did you know that these guys are actually the same character? Con-El is his Kryptonian name, Connor Kent is his sort of Earth name. They're both clones of Lex Luthor and Superman put together. I actually thought they were completely different characters, but it turns out they're actually the same character in the DC Universe. And then here's the McFarlane Superboy, next to the Mattel DC Universe Classics version. Here's an example of a figure that Mattel did a better job on than McFarlane, and it's simply because of the missing glasses and jacket. And I know I'm beating that dead horse with a stick, but I'm going to keep beating that dead horse until the stick breaks. Here's the Con-El Superboy, next to the John Kent Superboy. We have the McFarlane and DC Direct versions. And I much prefer John Kent as Superboy, little kid version, versus Superman, the adult version. And here's this Superboy, next to both the regular and patina versions of Superboy Prime, yet another different version of Superboy. Here are all the Superboy figures that I have in my collection. 9 figures, 3 different characters, Superboy Prime, Con-El, and then John Kent. Now let's check them out with some of their Death and Return of Superman and Reign of the Supermen figures. Here's the Con-El Superboy from Death and Return of Superman and the more modern version of the Con-El Superboy. And here he is, next to the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Steel. Then, with all 3 versions of Eradicator. Next, with all 4 versions of McFarlane's Cyborg Superman. The 2 on the left are Hank Henshaw, and the 2 on the right are Superman's uncle, Zor-El. Here's the team from the Reign of the Supermen. Cyborg Superman, Superboy, Steel, and the Eradicator. It is finally time to put them together. It's been a long time coming. And in here's Superboy next to a few different Superman figures from the Death and Return storyline. Although, a lot of them are similar, but not actually from the right storyline. The first Superman is a battle-damaged, bloodied, beat-up one from when he fought Doomsday. But it's not from the original fight, it's from a later version. Then we have the big, giant, buff, swole Superman. That's kind of how he looked in the 90s a lot of time, and this is actually the right figure from that time period. And then we have the black suit Superman in his solar suit. That's what he wore when he came back from the dead, but of course, this is not from that storyline, but a more modern version. Superman, Lois and Clark. Here's this Superboy, next to the Tim Drake Robin, World's Finest. Add in Impulse, and you have some Young Justice going on. Now let's check them out, next to some of the recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the rest of his wave, this most recent wave of page punchers. We have the death and return of Supermen, Superboy, as well as the Golden Age first appearance Wonder Woman. There's also a Platinum Chase variant of Superboy, and Steve Trevor in the wave. Here's Superboy, next to the previous wave of page punchers. We have Supergirl from Woman of Tomorrow, and then Superman, Starman, and Damage from Kingdom Come. And here he is, next to the most recent wave of collector's figures. We have both the regular and Platinum Chase variants of Metron, Kite Man, Dark Archer, and Dark Star. Then, with the most recent Batman wave, Kenner Homage Azrael, Troika Batman, and Luke Fox Batwing. And now, with the most recent digital wave, we have Monarch, No Man's Land Batman, Disco Nightwing, and Spoiler. Here's Superboy, next to the Ross exclusive James Gunn movie and Hush Superman figures. And here he is, with some McFarlane cover recreations. We have the Kingdom Come Superman, the infamous stolen Killing Joke Joker, and the Dark Knight Returns Batman. Then, with the Dark Knight's Metal, Merciless, and the Batman Who Laughs 2-pack. And now, with the green and yellow Rainbow Batman figures. And finally, with the Nightmare Arkham City Batman, the Jokerized Dick Grayson Robin, and the Blacklight Etrigan the Demon. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figures, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures and Diamond Select toys. Here's Superboy, next to a bag of corn chips. And here he is, with some DC Direct and NECA figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it is a cool Superboy figure. He looks good, he moves good. I'm okay with the accessories, even though it's just a couple of hands. But I'm not okay with the missing jacket and glasses. If I were to rate this figure with the jacket and glasses on, I'd probably give him a 7.5. He looks the way I want him to. Except I need to find a decal of the Superman logo for the back of his jacket. But if I were to rate him without those items, the way he came, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. McFarlane done fucked up and made a shitty Superboy, and that's a Superboy that we've been waiting for years. So, very disappointed on the corners that McFarlane has cut with this figure. It is inexcusable, it is ridiculous. They easily could have added the jacket and glasses, just like they did with the Power Girl Platinum figure. But I was able to find my own. Like I said, there will be a link in the description below. If you want the jacket, this one fits him damn good. Although, you'll still need to find some glasses. But there are so many wrestling figures with glasses like this. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.